Well, jumping into some more new things, Bosch just released not only a new motor, a race version of their existing CX motor, but also you're going to be able to update it over the air, which I think is amazing. I mean, so many, I don't know, you read the comments, so many people feel like they're being nitpicked, right? Like, oh, it's a new standard, I have to get a new everything. Or you're changing this little bit, but I can only get it if I'm getting a whole new $10,000 bike sort of thing. But with Bosch, they're releasing this new race motor. It's going to increase the torque from 75 newton meters up to 100. The percentage, I think, is like the current one's like 360%, 340% assist, and it's going to bump up to 400% assist. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of battery that you're going to have to give up for having that extra power, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's cool, especially seeing the new Specialized motor, and then seeing that come out. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's just an update, right? I mean, it's putting a new firmware into it. You can put it into the old motor, from what I understand. But is that just making, you're just taking range away from, you're just, kind of beefing up your motor in a firmware update, and then you're just getting more range out of it, or like or less range, sorry.
Yeah.
But like, what's like the plan there? You know what I mean? That's what I see. I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate with e-bikes sometimes. So it's like, what if you just make the motor stronger? Are you just, you have less range?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like with technology, electronic technology, right? It only goes one direction. It gets more powerful. It lasts longer. It will charge faster, and it's lighter, it's smaller. But it seems like a lot of the manufacturers are sort of looking for that like power grab right now. Who can have the most power? It's like a contest between the new brands coming in like DJI, who are not mountain bike specific, brands like Specialized, who are very brand and very bike specific, having to compete with those things. And then now we're seeing Bosch have these updates to increase the power. It just seems like a big land grab for power. But looking at some of the comments, for me, I look at it and I'm like, man, I wish that the industry would take it the other way. Like, okay, these bikes are powerful enough. They're fast enough. There's speed limit legalities for a reason. Let's see if we can make this bike just as powerful, just as capable, and battery length lasting just as long, but let's take 10 pounds out of it. Like, that's where I want the industry to go.
I was literally about to say the same thing, because when I was looking into that Bosch motor, I was like, okay, it's faster. All these companies are going for, 111 Newton meters, or, 100, whatever it is. But it's like, what's the goal? Like, what is enough power for an e-bike? Because it's still a bike, right? I mean, we all know that a mountain bike is a mountain bike, and it's not a motorcycle. It's not a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Obviously it is pedal assist, but it's like, what's the end of like, hey, we want more power and more, it's like, do we even want to pedal bikes? Like, I don't know. That's
the thing is like looking at some of the feedback from people seeing this stuff come out, it is a mix. Like there were a lot of people that had that same sort of opinion as me, like why more, why heavier, why bigger? But granted, not to toot my own horn, I have a decent level of fitness. I can go out on a pedal bike and ride for a few hours and have a good time and still wake up the next morning and get out of bed. But, reading the comments, there's a lot of people who are like, yes, more power. I've hurt my knees. They're garbage. I can't ride uphill unless I have this, blah, blah, blah. I take that in two ways. Like, how much are we like making it too easy? Like we didn't start riding these things because it was super accessible and easy and everybody could do it. But now e-bikes are kind of making that a thing. So it just brings it back to why bikes are so fucking awesome is because they're for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah. I completely
agree. Can I say fuck?
Yeah. Good. No,
But
that was a great take. I love that line.
But I mean,
that was good. Yeah, that's nice.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? Like you could argue till you're blue in the face to somebody, but it's a different perspective. And like anybody who hates on e-bikes, and maybe this is funny for me because I feel like people just automatically assume I'm an e-bike hater. I don't know why I get in these conversations, but I try to explain this to the traditionalists. Like, okay, you're pedaling up the hill and you see a shortcut that's going to get you to the exact same place, and it's going to make it so you can go down 2 or 3 more times than you normally would have if you didn't take that shortcut. Now you're on your pedal bike. Do you take the shortcut or not?
You
take
definitely-
the shortcut
go,
every
you go.
time.
Yeah, you do. So it is like, it's the same.
Yeah, but there's also plenty to be said for the traditional analog bikes. Like my favorite thing about an e-bike is how it makes my analog bike feel when I get on it. I feel like I am a superhero. I can do whatever I want, and it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so getting carried away a little bit about the positioning of the super powerful monster bikes, but some of the specs that are coming out on the new motor, like yes, there is the update on the traditional CX, but the new CX Team, it comes with a magnesium casing, has a tie spindle, so it's only 2.7 kgs for the whole motor is what the claimed weight is. So they're lightening it up, they are making it easier, and there's new features. There's a feature called eMTB Plus, which is, from what I can tell, it's similar to what Specialized does, how you can adjust the end. So it'll give you a little more power. So, when you're going up and over something, you give it that little ratchet crank and it'll give you maybe 2 seconds of power to get over that rock. It's pretty cool that they're incorporating that.
Yeah. Are they going to have that on as like a lever mode, or is that just tuned into that motor?
So from the press release, I was reading that it does come in like a natural dynamic delivery. That's the words that they used. For me, that feels like, it's going to be smooth. It's not going to be an instant uppercut of power, but you can go in on the app and adjust that if that is the way you like to.
And you make it more for if you're in that technical position where you need to get over, you can adjust it so you can have extra boost, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty cool because there's a lot of trails that you could do that you can climb differently like that because you can do a lot more technical features and stuff going up. You can make both ways fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's the thing is it's going to be totally like location dependent. If you're riding somewhere where there's a lot of like steep ledges and maybe some slippery rocks, you're going to want as much of that boost after that half crank you can get.
Not so much for us, but for...
Yeah, we don't really have rocks.
No.
It's like perfect. It's funny. Talking to other people that ride in other places, it's like I change tires like maybe once every 4 months.
Yeah, winter time.
Brake pads, maybe a set of brake pads a year. And people are like, "What? Do you even ride?" And it's like, "Man, I'm riding a lot. It's just the conditions are so good here. It doesn't eat your bike. I love it."
Yeah, it's winter time. You just go all winter long.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
amazing.
The other feature that jumped out at me was the Auto eMTB Plus. So what that is you have to have the new TRP 12-speed shifter, electronic shifting. But basically, let's say you're coasting down a hill and you came over a crest, you were in an easy gear and you start coasting down a hill. The bike knows how fast it's going and it will automatically shift into a harder gear so that when you go to reach for a pedal, you're in the correct gear. That's another one of those things like making riding easier, simplifying it for the rider. What do you think about that stuff? That's pretty crazy.
I don't know though, because it seems really cool and that's awesome because you don't have to click it. Is the cassette spinning? How would it come down?
Yeah, so what it does is it turns the motor on.
Okay, sweet.
So it knows.
Sweet. When I saw that, I was like, wait, how is it going to get down? But anyway.
Because the cranks are, they're separate from the chainring on e-bikes. So it turns the motor on.
It will just turn that.
Yeah, let's hope there's not a stick there when you need to shift.
It
just rips your whole derailleur off.
Yeah. Just sitting there. That's pretty cool though, because
and it does it the opposite too. And that's where it stuck in my head was like, okay, I'm going down a hill fast, and then it's going to go straight up. And according to the press release, what it's going to do is it's going to be able to tell my speed is slowing down. It's going to shift me into an easier gear. So then when I grab a pedal, I'm just going to go.
Wow, that's pretty awesome actually, because I mean that just takes one thing out of the equation where you don't have to worry about, and you're just
on paper it makes sense.
Yeah,
send me one.
Yeah,
I know exactly where I would try it out. Pork chop. There's that. Boom. We'll see if it works.
It would be sweet for enduro, right? Especially the e mountain bike racing too, because they kind of do the same tracks, but they might add in like a straight.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that might be a really cool option for those guys.
Yeah,
racing those.
The biggest thing for me is like, how is it going to work with existing products, right? Like, I know if you're under power and you shift up too fast on an e-bike, you're going to rip your chain off. That's what happens every time.
Transmission helps a little bit, but it's still pretty.
It's so slow, the T-type.
Yeah.
That spot I'm talking about. That spot I'm talking about on pork chop.
Yeah.
I have to either put it in a super easy gear and descend for like 30 seconds, or I just walk up.
Yeah, because if you click your gears, it's kind of like since it waits for that right time to shift,
Yeah.
it's kind of like boom, boom, and then by the time you're kind of slow.
I'm
pedaling.
stopped.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I got to run now.
Yeah,
So.
that's cool though. They're innovating. It'll be interesting to see how all that stuff, elevates. It's like the motors, the power, the length, then the products and the parts and the brakes and
Yeah, for
everything's
sure.
going to elevate. So
I
it's
wonder
just
what
pushing.
I wonder what SRAM's gonna do because they're kind of the leader in tech and e-bike tech too. I mean,
Yeah.
because they're
I'm waiting for that transmission motor to come out. I know they got one back there somewhere.
they definitely have one. They for sure have one because Shimano's got it, so they got to get it pretty soon, right?
Oh yeah, you know it.